Hey everybody, welcome to Fractured Focus, episode number 12, the show where we obsess about everything from geek culture to nerd news, along with random topics for discussion. I'm one of your hosts, Ben Gordon, alongside my friend coming live from the great state of Nebraska, Mr. Matt Swihart himself, Matthew, Mr. Game of Thrones, now educated. He bit into it, and it's got you, doesn't it?
Anyway.
I say what?
Yeah, I mean, it does.
It was as good as we told you it was going to be, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's shaping up to be good.
Just from that, and obviously for those of you watching, you can tell we're missing our third member here. Our brother, my brother Dan Gordon, is not feeling well, so please send him lots of Twitter messages and let him know that you're thinking about him. But hopefully we'll have him back when we do the next reaction for Game of Thrones Season 2, which you have just finished. And, man, Am I getting lots of requests from just the first reaction that we did on Twitter and on the comments all the time. People were even asking to do reactions for, like, every episode. And, obviously, we, as much as that'd be fun, we don't really have the time to do every single episode. Yeah. But what I definitely think we should do is, obviously, we'll do the reaction for Season 2 tomorrow or the next day. And what we'll do is, in addition to doing a reaction for Season 3, what I'm going to try to do is have it set up to record at least one, if not a couple, specific episodes that I want you to record your reaction to watching, because you don't know what's going to happen. I'm not saying it's a big death or, whatever it is, but, there's some big stuff that happens where it just, I bet you're not going to expect it, and I think we'd like to see that reaction before we talk about it too. So for those of you watching that wanted more of the reaction stuff as far as the Game of Thrones, we'll try to do a little bit more, and after we do a few of these specific episodes, but definitely the seasons, when we get into maybe Season 7 when it airs, which might not be till the summer or the fall, maybe we'll do a quick reaction after every episode for that, because that's going to be, I think it's only a 7-episode season this season. But that'll be really cool too. But regardless, I'm glad to hear that you're liking it. Who would have ever guessed you'd like the most popular show in the world, given that we're also on a geek pod video cast, whatever you want to call this type of thing too. Coolio, did you have a good week?
Yeah, it was good.
What'd you do?
Kids had a good Valentine's Day today.
What'd you guys do for that?
I got them balloons, and then obviously they just had their Valentine parties. School and stuff.
Boy, do they still do the thing where if you get cards and stuff for everybody, they make sure that you are handing them out for everybody?
I think so.
I remember.
I don't.
I remember we always had to get them for everybody in the class, and then one year we had one teacher that said, "No, just give them to whoever you want to." And so I go, "Okay, cool." And I think there was like 2 kids in my class I just didn't want to, and I thought, "Oh, that's." Sweet. I'm not being forced to do that. Afterwards, I felt like the biggest piece of shit. I felt so bad. I don't even know if they noticed, but maybe they just ingrained some good old ethics in me. Who knows? That's cool.
Yeah, a little moral lesson.
Yep, pretty much. Well, let's go ahead and jump into our topics. Topic number 1, which is probably the most recent thing. This is obviously being filmed a little bit late. If for the 3 of you that were dying to see the episodes come out on time on Monday and now Tuesday, you're probably noticed you're going to get 2 of them tonight and then Wednesday and Thursday hopefully on time too. But that did give us the benefit of there's some stuff that's popped up between when we normally shoot and now. And the first thing is apparently Ben Affleck isn't happy being Batman anymore. Now, with all the bullshit that's been I don't know if I should say bullshit. With all the drama that's been surrounding this, especially over the past few weeks, is he going to direct? Is he not going to direct? DC's challenges, blah, blah, blah. Do you think, is this really surprising to you? Because I don't think this is that shocking.
It is a little bit surprising, but I definitely understand why. I mean, this guy's been hounded for the last year as to when the new Batman movie is going to come out.
That's the biggest thing.
And he has not appreciated it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't think he really understood the gravity of what he was getting into becoming Batman.
Right.
Because all of his other stuff, people could care less.
Yeah, what was that?
And after his recent movie didn't do good, he's just kind of, I don't know if he's in shambles or upset about that or what the deal is, but...
Didn't he say something like... everyone's hounding, you're right, they're hounding him about Batman all the time, and he spent a year and a half of his life writing and directing this most recent movie. And what was it called again?
Yeah. Oh, I can bring it up.
I mean, the fact that we don't even know off the top of our head is a perfect example of that, but apparently it just bombed at the box office. I don't remember seeing one trailer for this thing.
I saw a couple of trailers. It's I think it's like a gangster movie.
Right.
Like a 1940s, 1950s gangster movie. And I don't know if the market's there for it. I mean, he shouldn't really be surprised by how it turned out. I mean,
it can't have been a huge budget movie. I mean, I'm just assuming because I don't remember any TV commercials. I don't remember seeing any trailers for this. But I do remember it was on some late night talk show that he was talking about it. It goes, it's really frustrating when you put a year and a half of your life into something that you're really passionate about, because he wrote and directed this thing, and everyone's always asking, well, what about Batman? What about Batman? He's like, Jesus, just, what about what else I'm doing over here? And I know that when the whole, what is he going to direct? Is he not going to direct? He said publicly, I am willing to direct it as long as the script is right. The big challenge there is going to be the bat costume, because if you're going to direct this movie, it can't be, I mean, I'm assuming putting on that bat costume takes a lot of fucking time. Well, if you're going to be directing and they're in the shots and coming back and talking to your ADs and all that kind of
cinematographer.
Yeah, you need to be more mobile. And that makes complete sense. And I can completely understand where he's coming from, that if you want to direct a really great movie and you think that this is going to hinder the movie because you're not going to be able to get to all the places that you need to get or keep the flow of the movie the way it should be as you're filming it, I think that might not be beneficial to the film. I think he's an amazing director. I think he could be a better director than he is an actor. And don't get me wrong, I think he's a great actor too, but filming, writing and directing the Batman and being in that suit, the more you think about it, I'm just like, I agree.
Yeah, it's a tall order.
Right.
It was a tall order for sure.
Right.
And I think that with his movies, he's a bit of a perfectionist. He wants everything right.
Sure.
And you can see that. You can see it in the product he puts out.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big thing with him is that they're not bringing the scripts. I think if they had to come up with a story quicker than they have that was decent, he would be in that director's chair. At least he'd give it a shot.
You think so? Even with the suit issues?
Oh, yeah, because it might be like a co-director situation where he brings in somebody that he trusts.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's got to be hard to direct yourself, especially when you're in cape and cowl.
Right.
That's such a hard thing to do anyway. When you cover half of somebody's face and you're telling them to direct, unless you're in the moment directing them, it's hard to do that. You can't really direct yourself and do the scene. So, I mean, it was a tall order to begin with.
Yeah.
I think they hoped that Ben Affleck would do it. I think he's just getting burnt out on Batman, DC, because for the last year and a half, on top of him doing his own movie, he's been having to go, DC meetings, Warner Brother meetings, all this stuff about Justice League.
Yeah, plus DC really seems to be on the defensive, right? I mean, everyone's attacking him. The critical reception of the movie was polarized at best. Do you remember that one? There was a meme that went around. I don't know if you call it a meme. There was a video that someone took of an interview with him and Henry Cavill when they were interviewing him, just about the appalled reaction that the audience has given in the movie. And Henry Cavill's, you giving the usual defensive speech. You say, well, we don't do it for the critics, we do it for the same thing that you'd always say. I mean, what else are you going to say in that situation? You're right, it sucked. You can't say that while the movie's still in theaters. I don't know what people expect him to say, but of course, if the critics loved it, they would have applauded that too. But of course, the movie was kind of all over the place. But anyway, while that was going on and Henry Cavill's defending it, Ben Affleck was looking like a deer in the headlights, like, what the hell did I get myself into? And I think when you compound all these things, DC just not having that magic touch. I think Ben Affleck was the best part of Batman v Superman in all aspects. Best Bruce Wayne, in my opinion. I just thought I liked that version of Bruce Wayne. And best on-screen Batman that moved the way Batman that we know from the comics and the cartoons did, that you couldn't think they could make believable. I mean, Zack Snyder really pulled that off well. The rest of the movie, not so much, in my opinion.
Not so much, yeah.
So I think when you add that in, the difficulties of directing, and I think probably one of the biggest things is just, you're right, constantly being hounded because Batman is such a huge property. And I can't even imagine the internet fans just going at him 24/7. That's got to be really frustrating too.
Even if he quit now, let's say that he quit now and there's no Batfleck. He's already got 3 movies under his belt.
Well, my guess is he's already done Infinity War. And if he
no, he's done.
I'm sorry, you're right.
He did
Justice League.
He did Justice League. So that hasn't come out. He was in Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Batman v Superman.
And I think that the Batman movie he's probably already signed a deal with. I think that one's a done deal. But I've got a feeling after that, if there's any way that he can get out of his contract, which we don't even know how the hell that stuff works or how many movies he's signed on for, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a standalone Batman movie that that's his last portrayal of Batman in this DC universe. And I'm almost wondering if Infinity War doesn't, God damn it, why can't I think of it? Justice League. This is how bad they're doing. I can't even remember their goddamn names. Marvel is really ingrained in there. DC not so much.
Yeah.
If Justice League can't right the ship, I'm really wondering if DC pulls the plug and maybe waits a few years and starts over, because they probably won't, because they have been bringing in money. Wonder Woman does look better, but if Wonder Woman isn't better and Justice League shits the bed too, I think they got a real problem. I don't see them following through with like Shazam or Green Lantern Corps or Aquaman.
Yeah, there's already rumors though that the Green Lantern's gonna make like a cameo in Justice League.
Oh, don't get me wrong, but there's been plenty of cameos in superhero movies that never came to fruition. I'm just saying they really better up their ante and so far the critical reception, both from critics and audiences, hasn't been enough to dissuade the box office, because the box office still has been strong for all these movies. So even Suicide Squad made a shitload of money, and that was I didn't think we could get worse than Batman v Superman. They pulled it off.
The thing about that is, I mean, I was surprised when they announced Ben Affleck, not because he wasn't a big enough star, but because I thought he was going in a different direction.
Right.
He was directing. He was behind the camera doing The Town, and then he'd make a few movies here and there with somebody else, but it seemed like his main drive and direction he was heading was that directing chair.
Right.
So once you sign into something like this, that's all consuming, and maybe it's a situation where because of all the stuff that he's had to do being Batman, that movie that he released, it wasn't up to his expectations because he couldn't put the time in.
Yeah.
And moral dilemmas.
You know what's interesting is this is such a polar opposite of, let's say, Robert Downey Jr.'s situation. I mean, go back in time and think about this. He was kind of not your A-list anymore star when Iron Man came out. Now he's basically living in a world of he gets to decide where the sun sets, right? Yeah. All these movies have been fantastic story and narratives and great inclusion of, little drabs of other story threads from other movies without overtaking their plots. I remember even who plays Captain America? Why can't I think of his name? Chris Evans. Chris Evans, who only signed on to do
blanking on my Chris's.
Yeah, right. Only signed on to do so many movies, and basically I think his contract is up as far as Infinity War. And when asked if he's going to now pass on the shield to somebody else, he said, well, we definitely could do so. Honestly, I don't know if I'm ready to give up that spot because all these movies are so good. And he was actually it's interesting, he was thinking back to when he was first considering taking the role of Captain America. He didn't know if he wanted to do it. He didn't know if it'd be too cheesy, and now he's even scared to think about not taking this role because of the world of wonderful movies he's gotten to do that he's very proud of. He loves the character.
And
he
the
loves
piles of money.
Exactly. Well, yeah, don't get me wrong, obviously, but they're really good movies that you could be proud of, that kids love them. They're just really good stories. I feel bad for Ben Affleck because great actor, went into a situation where you could have seen something similar happen, a similar trajectory, not like he needs to be a bigger star, but you know what I mean? Another world, something that you can be proud of and is universally praised and everybody loves. Not much of that happened. And then as soon as it didn't happen, a lot of the normal pressure that probably would normally be placed on, let's say, Kevin Feige for Marvel or Zack Snyder for DC or the studios, a lot of it unfairly kind of got put on Ben Affleck. Oh, let Ben save it. Here, let's let him direct. He's a great director. Let him fix the situation. That's even more pressure and more of an anchor to put on his back.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him because that's a whole lot of compounding pressure. That's kind of the exact opposite of someone, again, if you take Chris Evans or Robert Downey Jr., because they didn't have to deal with any of that crap. They show up,
or
great
any
story.
of them. Yeah. Any of them. I mean, think about what Marvel's done. they've taken decent actors, but they haven't taken, those guys that are at the top of the game. I mean, Chris Pratt made his debut in Marvel. I mean, that was like, apart from the Lego movie, Guardians of the Galaxy was his starring role.
You're right. That made him a huge
and then
star.
Chris Helmsworth, and he had some movies in Australia, but he was a virtual unknown when he came in as Thor. Scarlett Johansson was making movies, but
not to the level she is right now. Now she's an international superstar.
Yeah. But also look at the trajectory. Trajectory. I can't even say it. Of the stars from Marvel, because since they've started doing those movies, with the exception of Robert Downey Jr., none of them have done big roles. And Robert Downey Jr. was Sherlock for 2 movies. That was it. That's like his big roles. Otherwise, they're all smaller movies. They're either a comedy or just some kind of bit part in a movie.
Yeah. Not like triple.
None of them
I
made
see
the
what
big
you're
ones.
saying.
Yeah.
A-list star. I'm trying to think of Chris.
And they're definitely
Chris
not
Evans was in
directing
the
and writing
Fantastic
movies.
Four. Say what?
They're definitely not directing and writing movies.
Right. Yeah. And it's a tough situation for Ben Affleck to be in. And honestly, if I remember when it was first announced that Ben Affleck was going to play Batman, I thought, same as you, Ben Affleck, great actor. I could see him bringing something new to this. I can also understand that's going to get a lot of internet hate just because, Ben Affleck, we all saw that coming. Again,
Daredevil,
Yeah. But I never would have predicted that he would have ended up in the situation he's in today. So, and again, this is a rumor. It's not for sure, but the guy says from inside he definitely wants out. And to me, everything I've seen, everything I've read, and just watching his interviews on TV, that does not seem like a stretch at all. Like, I could totally believe that.
No. I mean, you got to realize Robert Downey Jr. gets it everywhere he goes, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's only starring in it.
Yeah.
He's not writing it. So you're taking on those roles. You're getting all the questions. You can't pass it off on to anybody else.
No shit. And let's be honest, Robert Downey Jr.'s probably had a lot more fun in all of his Marvel movies than Ben Affleck has had in his DC movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that sucks. So this is an interesting question to pose. If they let him out of his contract, we have them in Justice League, and then let's say the Batman standalone movie, let's say they let him out after that, then how does the DC universe, do they just stop using Batman and then just go off on their other movies? Because clearly this universe where they tried to get them all together first and then span off to their movies, the complete opposite of what Marvel did. Well, then how do you have any intertwining down the road? You just put in a different Batman, which I guess they could do, but it'd be weird.
I mean, I look at DC and where they're heading, and I'm with you. I'll be surprised if they make it very, very far. At least not very. No, they're not going to make it past Justice League too far.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling that they're going to have to scrap this, put it on the back burner, wait 5-10 years, bring it back. Because I think we're going to start seeing, and I think we'll talk about this a little bit later, is the hero saturation that's happening.
Yeah.
And at some point, it's going to affect Marvel too.
Yep. Man, I would have thought it would have happened. Yeah, you're right. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Because if this doesn't right the ship, I can't imagine the studio again. And I should preface this. I should say monetarily wise, because if the movie still brings in $800 million, but it's like everybody thinks it's shitty, I can't imagine the studio exec saying, "Well, stop the train." As much as we might.
At some point, though, people are going to stop seeing it.
That's the whole thing. That's the anxiety and probably the fear of the studio execs is this train of money coming in going to sustain if these movies keep sucking the way so many, not all, but so many of the fans and critics keep saying it was? Because that's got to be a big worry of them. That's why how many articles have you read where they're saying Justice League's going to be a lot more hopeful and positive? It's going to be a lot more fun. See the trailer? See how they're kind of laughing? See, it's more fun. They're definitely on tiptoes for this. And if it doesn't right the ship, I can't imagine them following through with the next couple movies like Aquaman. Wow, you got to have a lot of frickin' balls and guts to think that you're going to get an audience to see Aquaman if it starts to dip before we even get there. Because, I mean, the Flash I'd like to see, but
you're going to start seeing stars turn down those roles.
Yeah.
Especially in the DC universe if it continues on the path that it's on.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one thing to get Will Smith and all those other guys that can bring ticket sales, but when you don't have those people and you're making them with B-listers, unless you're putting out a quality product,
Yep.
your movies aren't going to make as much money.
Lawrence Fishburne just did an interview. They wanted to have him play Perry White in just a quick scene for Justice League, and he said he couldn't do it because of scheduling, which might very well be true. He says he likes Zack Snyder and what he's doing, but he did say, like, Marvel's killing it, DC isn't, and I don't know. You almost kind of wonder, is he like, you know what? I did my time for DC.
Yeah, I'm going to cut bait.
Yeah, exactly. I'm good for now, because if anything, he's probably definitely signed on for another Man of Steel sequel if they decide to do it. I can't imagine them doing another Superman movie not having Perry White in it, but who knows? Again, I hope they right the ship, but this does not inspire more hope.
Certainly not.
For where DC's going. Are they done even shooting Justice League, do you know? Or are they still shooting that? Maybe they still got
I think it's in post-production.
Okay. When does that come out? Next May or something?
Next summer?
Okay.
Or this winter? I don't know.
When is Wonder Woman coming out? It feels like this movie's been coming for years.
Well, yeah, I think they were just in production when they released their first trailer.
Okay.
Let me see. IMDb will tell me when Wonder Woman comes out.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, poor Ben Affleck. I'm sure that would just spawn tons.
Well, it's got a 2017 date. Let's see. May, actually.
Wonder Woman isn't until May? Oh, this May. Right. Okay, in a couple months.
Yeah,
That's
May
fine.
7th.
Okay. I was going to say... Although I shouldn't bitch, because what did I say about Suicide Squad? Why'd they rush it so fast? So I really just wish they would have taken their time, one at a time, get a character base, get people to like these characters, and then build it up. But no, you got to get the zeitgeist.
With that Sirens movie, that Sirens of Gotham, that have Batman in it.
If that even comes to fruition, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? Marvel, you're killing it. Keep doing it.
Keep it up, buddy.